Hello and welcome to EDL 854. My name is Bill Johnson and this is my case study on the budget debacle. First of all, section 1 was to summarize the case and establish the facts. What has happened? Well, what has happened in this particular case is fundraising by 6 local elementary schools, 2 in particular, become very competitive. They have foundations that are formed to raise funds to purchase supplementary curriculum programs, and a raffle type of fundraiser was thought of. And just before they drew the winning raffle ticket, the foundation president, Mr. Barley, was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor. When and where did this occur? The fundraiser took place at the school during the school term, and it was at a Briardale Elementary School, and the state, we don't know exactly what state it's in. Who's involved? The primary players are Principal Santos, who is Briardale Elementary School principal, Mr. Barley, Barely, and he is the foundation president of the elementary school. And him and Mr. Morley kind of have a feud that goes all the way back to college days, where they were competitive, and Mr. Barely lost an election to Mr. Morley in their fraternity. Section 2, legal and ethical issues. Nobody that we know of was physically harmed by the actions. Mr. Santos and the Briardale were mainly embarrassed because it made their school look very bad when you have someone arrested during a fundraising event. Does the raffle contravene any state laws? Well, it kind of depends on the state. It would be nice to know what state this is in, and we would have to look at all the state laws. Raffles are a game of chance, of course, and may be subject to any and all state laws. Did they need a permit? Was that the reason why he was arrested? Is there a limit on cash prizes in the state, and did he go through and get prior approval? Those are some things, some legal issues that we'd like to know. Was there a breach of contract? There is no contract, so there's no breach of contract, and the actions were not discriminatory or harassing. Section 3, what happened or is happening, and try to do that in one sentence in a nutshell. Basically, Briardale Foundation President Mr. Barely, driven by past competitions and jealousy, wanted his fundraiser to raise more money than Mr. Morley's, and he did not check with state laws regards to raffles and was charged with the violation of state gaming laws. Section 4, what are the facts? What do we know and what is unknown? Well, first of all, the people that were mentioned earlier, Mr. Santos is a Briardale Elementary principal. Mr. Barely is the foundation president, and he was charged. We don't know exactly what the charges are, but we know it has something to do with the raffle, or especially the raffle that they gave out or about to give out. Mr. Morley, the foundation president, is of another elementary school, and as I said, they have past history. The place, the elementary school is 600 students in K through 5. It is one of only 6 elementary schools in the entire district, and by all accounts, the school works very well with the community, and because the community is able to use the facilities. The one thing that I would like to know is what state is Briardale located in. The program, fundraising by the foundation, is gifted usually every year to the site principal to use for supplementary curriculum materials, but it also goes through a lead teacher and a site curriculum committee who make suggestions and are involved in the decision making. So it seems like there's a good balance of the foundation and working with the local school. Section 5, review and prioritize the information. Is conflict or decision damaging to the stakeholders? Well, first of all, the school and Mr. Barley Foundation have vested interest in the outcome of the situation. They obviously want to make themselves look good. I'm not sure if all the stakeholders have been consulted. I would like to know a little bit more about the situation prior to Mr. Barely getting arrested. However, more data is needed in order to make a data-informed decision. I would like to know about the state laws on the gaming involving games of chance. I'd also like to know what exactly the charges are filed against Mr. Barely. Section 6, identify your options and possible consequences. What could I do in this situation? Well, the first thing to do would be to just hands-off approach almost. Do really little or nothing on the school part, because it is a foundation outside of our school, didn't involve any of our school employees, and let him work it out on his own. The second option, the most extreme option, would be to totally shut down the foundation and not allow any outside fundraising at all. This would transfer the task, if you wanted to continue raising funds, to faculty and staff. Option 3 would be to, kind of in the middle, to notify the superintendent immediately. We would like to hold meetings with the committee, foundation, faculty, staff, in order to educate all stakeholders about the proper use of fundraisers and work to try to improve relations and try to get back to using the foundation to help benefit the entire school and all the students. Section 7, evaluate your options. The pros and cons of each option. Well, option number 1, taking no action at all. There's really not a pro to that, but what I guess I came up with a pro was the school is not involved, and it takes no energy on the school's part. They just forget about it. The negative thing is it makes the school look bad if you just kind of turn your back on the foundation and Mr. Barely, and that could lead to a lot of community backlash. 2, do away with the foundation completely. The positive is we'd have no future violations of problems with fundraising. The negative was you're missing out on a lot of opportunities to provide for the students' education, and it's going to alienate community and stakeholders, and you're going to miss out on a collaboration between the school and the community. Number 3, this is the one that I prefer, but I would like to hold meetings with all the stakeholders. The positive, it brings everyone together to evaluate future fundraising, and you're going to work with the community to improve the school image, and it also provides the opportunities that the students would benefit from the fundraising in the future. The negative thing is it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort on everyone's part. Section 8, what is the best option? And reflect on it for all stakeholders. Well, number 1, I would choose option 3, and that's the option where we're going to work together with all the stakeholders to improve the school's relationship in the community. I feel it's best for education and for the school development. And number 2, I would like to have all stakeholders be consulted. In this particular case, we would contact all stakeholders and have a collaborative meeting. Me as the principal, I can lead that discussion on how we're going to move forward. Number 3, have identified creative options. Well, there were several options listed, and some of those are creative. Section 9, implementing your decision on how to imagine that's going to work. Well, first of all, I would meet with my superintendent to review all the data involved in the decision before meeting with the stakeholders, and to make sure that we are following all state and federal regulations as well as school policy. I believe meeting with the foundation and Mr. Barley and the superintendent are in the best interest of all students, community, and the school. I would be able to handle the situation, I believe, by letting others know that we're going to work through this and that we have the backing of the superintendent and the school board. During this meeting, I would recommend to Mr. Barely step down as the foundation president. He is charged with a misdemeanor, and we can work through that, but it'd be best if he stepped down for a while and let someone else run the show. And if this plan doesn't work at first, I would recommend the foundation be temporarily disbanded until we can work through the decisions. Section 10 is the program standards and integration. The standard number 6, operations and management. I've listed them out there for you. They have been embedded into my case study throughout. There's a list of the references from our book. And thank you very much for watching my case study. It's been a pleasure working with everyone through this class. Thank you.